Witness the peak of human ability. No room for error. Hesitation is defeat.
Have you been here before? Have you reached the summit of gaming experience that I would call parrying? Or do you find it difficult to engage with, not even looking in its direction, and can't figure out why? Is it because it's difficult, or is there something else entirely? I think I have an idea. Video games have this natural ebb and flow of offense and defense. Offense to move the story forward, get rid of enemies, and defense to prevent yourself from getting rid of by the enemies. Ensuingly, offensive and defensive options are decisions you make. Every decision carries with it its own risk and reward. It feels tangible that your decisions have feedback from getting hit or hitting others. Swinging in with a slow and heavy charge attack can yield great rewards in the form of massive damage, but it comes with the arduous wind-up and sluggish recovery. Correspondingly, the parry falls within this same category of risk and reward. To illustrate, it falls here specifically, in line with the riskiest decision. Much like the heavy attack, a parry has a ton of risk but gives a lot of reward. But why would others opt to roll and get less reward, or worse, block an attack and stay neutral? I think it's fear. Parrying opens yourself up to a lot of terrible things in a game. It feels vulnerable, it feels exposed. And because you decided to be vulnerable, nothing would scare anyone more than actively putting yourself in harm's way. But fret not, we have all been there before. Nothing is scarier than watching your resource bar deplete as you take on a fight. I remember not standing my ground in Sekiro and dashing out of the way of enemies. But when they're open and vulnerable, there's no way for me to punish them because of how far away I ran from them. To some, this might not be perfectly clear as the drawback to not parrying. Attempting to parry and failing is frustrating since you made that decision. Frustration grows fear, and fear leads to more frustration. Despair not, for the fault lies not solely on you. I remember playing one of the Dark Souls games and thinking I was unskilled, untalented, and unworthy of finishing them because I could not parry anything to save my life. Big mistake. It was not I who was wrong. It was the game's fault. I should have blamed the beasts. Dark Souls has one of the best payoffs for parrying, but the presentation, responsiveness, and everything surrounding the action feels bad. Emphasis on feels bad. Understandably, the game is not about parrying, but there is no clear timing windows, no clear information on what you can parry, and how different shields have different parry speeds. I agree, the ability to pull this off or figure it out should not be spoon-fed to you. But a little guidance through clear visual clues, unique sound effects, or distinct animations should steer you in the right direction to maybe stifle a bit of that fear. Take Sekiro, for example. Enemies are daunting, relentless, and outright terrifying. But parrying is a blast. Why? Everyone hyperextends their weapons. A big red signal informs you can't parry the attack, and the sounds are on point with subtle timing. On another note, Expedition 33's parry operates on finding consistent audio or visual timing you can use. Rely on one when others fail you, and deal massive game-changing damage when you pull it off. Get a feel for the enemy and make your own cues. And honestly, that's what makes Expedition 33 special. Repetition of fighting the same enemy in a dungeon gets boring, right? But in Expedition 33, it uses that repetition to its advantage because gradually getting better at dodging and eventually parrying motivates players to keep fighting. You're not grinding for levels, you're grinding for that competency. These two games of varying difficulty in parrying present you with ways of making the learning process easier and a lot less intimidating, despite one of them being marginally harder than the other. Would this be enough to get you to start going for that parry instead of the block or the roll? Or is it something else entirely? He who climbs the ladder must begin at the bottom. Nowadays, where there are games where parrying looks, feels, and sounds great,
You're not getting through.
you will start to feel that parrying is less about precision and timing, but more about trust. Believing in yourself that you can do it even after exposing yourself to greater risk takes a lot of skill and grit, especially accepting that you will fail along the way. Putting faith in yourself is hard enough as it is in real life. Allow yourself to have this one. Understand that we all start from the bottom. If you strip parrying down to its bare form, it's almost like a rhythm game where you press on cue. But now that it's a daunting opponent, it might be psyching you out.
師傅嘅血脈會以你嘅死而斷絕。
Ease yourself in. You can start with maybe learning how to parry trash mobs around the game, memorizing attack patterns of bosses, or tightening up your timings instead of mashing the block button. If you've been playing Expedition 33, this enemy might be familiar. They are relentless and incredibly suspicious. Yes, it's the chromatic Ramashur. If you haven't conquered your fear nor honed your abilities in parrying yet, I can imagine how this fight can become your own version of JRPG hell. And to those who don't know, it's a monster that refuses to let you have your own turn in a turn-based game. No other way to deal damage unless you start parrying it and going for counters. This is the game's way of saying, hey, if you're not parrying, you're not gonna defeat him and get his loot, making you wonder forever what it could be. So you should, just to know, you know? But it needs work. In due time, reactions aren't even necessary to defend yourself. It will evolve into anticipation, knowing that they will be doing something next. And the final evolution of it all, intuition, where it all naturally blends in with your instincts, but this time more informed and less doubtful. This is where you will start to meet the summit of your potential. Great parry design isn't about punishing failure, it's about rewarding belief. Belief that if you commit, the game will catch you with sparks, steel, and satisfaction. Once you get that moment, you will get hooked in parrying. First, it's small mobs, then it's the elites, and then it's the bosses. There's a progression to your climb, a story. It is about the drama. It is about the cinema. You are there. You have your moment. Time almost slows down to a halt. You're dancing, you're flowing. You are not running for your life anymore. No, you are alive. And you are the one doing the chasing. This is not even a defensive move anymore. No, this is the greatest offensive move you can ever pull off. Answering violence with finesse, with grace, and with the foresight of a god. You are unstoppable. So is parrying difficult? It is, but not because of how parrying is difficult. It is difficult because everything surrounding it makes it difficult. An unsupported system with poor feedback falls flat in encouraging you to take risks and believing in yourself. This plants seeds of doubt, which will then escalate into fear and frustration that feed off each other, that only you can stop. But even the most well-designed games will have a hard time convincing you to do it if you can't even convince yourself that you can do it so. Believe in yourself and know that the game will catch you when you approach the game like how we started this video, with no hesitation.